All right, welcome everyone. So here we have Andrea Anca, who is coming to us live from Spain. And this has been a long time coming, this interview. I've just felt it like, the anticipation of it just really, bubbling up inside of me. And so if you are watching this, please comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. And unfortunately, I don't know, we're going live on StreamYard, and so I don't know if we'll actually see your name. So if you want to put your name in the chat, please do. And what else do I want to say? Yeah, that's it. So, yes. And if you're watching the replay, just if you could type #replay, let us know that you watched this. So, Andrea, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful for this opportunity and for having met you. You're an amazing woman. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So, Andrea, you have I find your story super inspiring because I myself am an introvert. I grew up as a very shy child. I can recall like one time I think I tried out for like a school play and we had to sing the Star Spangled Banner in front of the whole school. And I thought I was going to be so confident. And I got up there on front of the podium and it was not how I wanted to show up as. Like my nerves got the best of me. So of course I didn't get a big part in the little school play or anything like that. But it's it's really something the nerves and the anxiety really hold us back from being who we're really meant to be. Like we know on the inside, it's like, I know I'm capable, but dang it, like what is it that's blocking me? So would you share with us your story of transformation?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for asking me. And yes, I want to tell you down by the social expectations, because if you think about it, I don't think that you ever heard a 2-year-old being afraid of public speaking. You can hear a 2-year-old voice from far away if they have something to say. It's just that we lose that voice along the way. And so did I. I was also a very, very shy girl. I barely opened my mouth. And if I was opening my mouth, I was barely whispering. I was so afraid to hear myself talking and to actually speak up that I would rather cope with a nasty situation than open my mouth. And interestingly enough, I was born in a family of musicians, and music is our life, and music means also stage. And I kept being horrified by the stage all my school years, and I managed to somehow go over them. And then the university years came, and stage was still there. And when we were performing in group, maybe I was not so drawn back by shyness. But when I had to sing or to play the violin alone, that was horrible. And one specific situation stands out when I was in the second year of university, I think. Yes, I was in the second year of university. I was having a violin exam, and the jury was sitting on the chairs in front of me. I was so nervous that my bow was literally jumping on my strings. And although I have practiced, yeah, although I have practiced at home, we had to play by heart. And in all that whirlwind of emotions and of situations, I just lost it. I completely lost it, and I completely went blank. I forgot what I had to play. And so at some point, my fingers just stopped. I was so blocked, I started crying. I broke down crying, and I was a 22-year-old grown up woman, you could say. At 22, you're already perceived as you already know what you want to do or everything. No, I was so overwhelmed that I left that exam crying, literally crying. And it's true, I lost my scholarship in that year. and I had to fight really hard to get it back. I did get it back. I graduated as having already a scholarship back, but that was a horrible fight, and I continued fighting in my everyday life. I became a teacher. I was feeling a little bit more confident between the four walls with one-on-one students or with my class, but I was still battling my stage fright. And stage fright doesn't only happen on stage; it happens in every aspect of your life because you're afraid to speak up in the most ordinary situations as well. And so this kept on until my 30s, 30 pluses. I somehow the stage was still drawing me onto it. I remember singing at home alone, singing karaoke's, and imagining that I'm somewhere on stage. On the other hand, the idea of actually being on stage was terrifying me. So there was this duality. A part of me wanted to be on stage, and now I understand why. Because a part of us always knows that we do have a story to share with others, and it's in our we are hardwired to stories. We were telling stories millennia ago around the fire. We were gathering to tell stories to one another. We were learning through stories and through storytelling. And so it's deep within us that we do want to share our stories and we do want to connect to others through stories. It's just that all the bad stories we are telling ourselves are keeping us from that. And so basically entrepreneurship led me on a path of personal development, which was far more important than entrepreneurship by itself. And this is how I came across how important it is for us to release our thoughts through saying them, how we release our throat, because that is another story of mine. I was always having a very delicate throat. They were telling me that you're sensitive and you're getting sick very easily. Yeah, but the reason was not in the chemistry of things. It was all here. I was getting sick because I was keeping inside all these things that I was not saying them out loud. I was not speaking them out. And they were getting stuck in my throat. My throat chakra was absolutely blocked. And basically I started to physically heal from these throat problems in the moment I started to be more vocal. And it's true, I fell in the other extreme of being too vocal and maybe even arrogant at times and hurting people. And that is the other extreme you can fall into when you start to speak up. So I started to realize that I want to guide women into this finding the middle path where you are vocal, you do speak out, you do express yourself in a way that it's not hurting somebody else, because that's not the purpose. The purpose is to let it out without hurting somebody else and also be an example for others. And basically what I want to do is gathering women in a movement where they are confident enough and aware enough that we are waiting for their stories, and so they have the courage to share these stories with the world.
Wow. Yeah. I can see, I know that I watched it in my mother. My mother was very repressed with her voice. She wouldn't necessarily speak her mind or her emotions very strongly because of her upbringing. And she went through cancer, multiple myeloma. She went through that cancer experience. And then I just watched this pendulum swing way the other way to such an extent that it was almost too difficult to even go to a restaurant with her because she was so unfiltered. Like, I mean, she would, you know, bash the waitress that's like serving us our food. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, so it's really true. Like, you have to find that middle path. So I appreciate you saying that. Um, and I wonder too, like, it's just coming to me as you were talking, this fear that comes over us when we're standing in front of a group of people whose eyes are all on us all at once. I wonder if it just triggers some kind of primal, triggers the amygdala that, like, you're under attack. Like, you have all these predators that are, on you, ready to devour you alive, and you just go, like, no, I don't want to be seen.
Yes, yes, it's absolutely right. You said it very perfectly. And now neuroscience is telling us about these things. Now we know about these things. It's true. When you
Mhm.
have a lot of eyes fixated on you, you feel under attack. And although our 21st century brain knows that there is no danger, our amygdala is so strong and it's so much manipulating us that yes, we are going to feel under attack. We are going to feel that this is a flight or flight or fight
Yeah.
situation, and we have different reactions to this, but most of us freeze, and that's when you forget your lines. That's when I forgot what I had to play on the violin, and it was only three or four pairs of eyes on me. That's one of the things. Yes, you feel attacked, and on the other hand, you feel judged. You feel decomposed in little parts and analyzed, and we are afraid that any mistake we could make, and we are going to make mistakes, we are humans, and we are afraid of those mistakes because what if they are going to be taxated, and what if we are going to be held responsible for whatever. We are afraid of a future, of a possible future which could go wrong, and we are so caught up in that possible future which might not never come, that we are ruining our present. And this goes beyond public speaking. We do this in our everyday life when we are out of flow.
Mhm.
Basically, we are either worrying about something that happened in the past and then pre worrying about something that might happen in the future, and we're trying to avoid that, instead of just being in the present, do the best you can, and then you will deal with what comes. Because the fact that you are alive here and now, it means that you dealt with all your problems beforehand. You got here. That's already to celebrate. That's already a success. That's already a breakthrough. And instead of celebrating it, and instead of living our present, we are worried about the future. We are doing that, unfortunately, in all aspects of our lives. I still do that. I'm not a guru master who got to enlightenment. I'm still on the path, and probably I'm going to be on the path all my life. But I know that it's important to always share the steps from the path with other ones who may be a little bit behind in some areas, maybe in other areas ahead. And maybe those bits of information that we are talking about and we are sharing with the world, maybe they're not maybe, surely they are helpful for others. So yes, what you said about the amygdala is very true. And it's also very true that we are under the spell of our unconscious brain most of the time. It's difficult and it takes practice to be mindful and to be self-aware of how you behave in your everyday life. It takes practice. It's a practice.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure you know more about this than me.
Well, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, yeah, we have the opportunity to make choices, and for sure it takes discipline. I'm really curious if you, well, I'd like for you to share, if you would, um, what is it that you do with your clients? Like, so if I were to come and say, Andrea, please help me, what 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 could I expect from you in terms of?
Um, when a client comes to me and okay, I'm a voice coach. I coach about public speaking and overcoming the fear of public speaking, the stage fright, which I've been through. Um, I see that in the world there are a lot of public speaking coaches, and we mostly work like I used to. What's happening here, a lot about what's happening here, which is okay. It's correct to work about the voice, the vocal cords, to explain how the physiology works and how to form it. Yes, that's part of it, and it's okay that it's part of it, but
Yeah.
it's only a part of it. The other part that it's less addressed, it's what's happening here, and it's what's happening in all the body. That's why I like to I always make stress an important highlight that I'm a holistic voice and confidence coach, because I take the human as a whole, not only from the neck or from the neck up. It's everything, because it's not only your voice, that's the technical part. You are your thoughts, you are your ideas, you are your principles, you are your experiences, you are such a complex human being that we are going to have to address also those parts. So when somebody comes to me with a problem, besides the fact that I'm going to start working on the technicalities of those problems, we are going to also work as if I am a life coach. We are going to speak about the specific situation of that lady, because I'm working specifically with ladies, but courageous men are also welcome. I'm going to speak about their past experiences which led them to believe some things which make them to behave in a specific way, or their voice to behave in a specific way. You are always going to find some beliefs or some fears from another things that might seem not unrelated at the first glance, but they are actually there, like little seeds, like a little rock that you have in your shoe. It's nothing, it's just maybe a little piece of sand, but it's going to destroy your foot if you're going to continue walking it like that. So yeah, we are taking off the shoe, we are looking in the shoe, we are looking in the sock, we are eliminating that little rock. So what I do, it's not preparing you for this particular speech and then you're going to have the same problems in another situations. What I'm doing is I'm helping you get rid of the problem, or if it's something in you, I'm helping you manage around that and accept your flaws and your defects that might be your very nice thing to have, your breakthrough. And saying this, I'm remembering I had a colleague in the music university. He was having an R problem. He couldn't pronounce the R.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so shy because of that, and he was barely speaking. We were all finding it so attractive and so cute, and we were even telling him that it sounds so sweet from you. No, 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 he was very shy.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that later on he got to work in insurances, in an insurance company. All his job is to speak. He spoke his life to wealth, to financial stability, and now he speaks with confidence. He's still having that problem, that R is still there, but
Hmm.
the way he shows up with it, now he owns it. Now he knows. Now he's using it, and it's his card to get into people's hearts, because it's very cute to hear him speaking. But until he didn't own it, until he didn't accept it as being a part of him, he couldn't work with it. So that's what I'm talking about. It's not always fixing a technicality, it's also embracing who you are. And that's the hardest part, actually. Fixing the technicality is easy. You make some exercises, you get over it. But to work from here and to work with yourself and to tell yourself that you love yourself in the mirror every morning, that's the hard part. That's the difficult part. And that has to be done regardless if you want to be a public speaker or not.
Mhm. Wow, that is such a powerful message, because I know um, for myself, perfectionism has been something that's played in my life. And perfectionism is just all about trying to escape feelings of shame. That underneath the perfectionism is actually this feeling of shame. And and so we drive ourselves thinking that we'd have to be perfect before we can be accepted. You know, we all have some issue that we're just born. It's not going to change. Like for myself, I have actually, I have a severed nerve in my jaw, so I can't feel this area of my face, and it's almost like, it does at some point. You just have to surrender, be like, okay, this is part of me now. It doesn't have to stop. It doesn't have to um, inhibit me or make me feel I'm less than or I'm not good enough. So I really love that story. It's quite beautiful, you know, and we see examples of people that can do that, but they're few and far between, and I feel like they really are the courageous ones. So um, I'm curious for you, one more question before we get off. Like for you, was there like a pivotal moment where like you something unlocked within you that allowed you to connect with your voice, or was it something that really just took time and intention in your own life?
There is somehow a combination of two, because
Mm-hmm.
it's true. I had, those little flickers that happen in your life in different moments in time, which there is something there, but you don't quite grasp it. But it's there, and it does shape you in a way that you don't understand it at the time. You probably are going to understand it 10 years later. So I did have these little flickers for 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 decades. But it's true that the first time when I actually realized that, hey, I'm a new person. It was a moment in the on the stage of the theater, when I was in the choir of the theater. I was part of the choir of the opera, and we were performing an opera. And well, the choir is not static like a philharmonic choir. We play, we are wearing the costumes, we are interpreting a story, we are giving a story. And so I was enjoying it. It was one of my dreams to get to an opera choir, and this was after the third audition that finally the three was a charm. I got the audition, but that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on stage. It was during the performance, and my partner had to bend me over as part of our dancing. And so my partner in the probably in the moment, or in the euphoria of the moment, he bent me a little bit too much, and I bent backwards so much that I could see the cupola of the place, the cupola of the opera, and I could see the people upside down watching us. And I don't know, but all that sight seemed so amazing and powerful. The cupola is painted. It's painted in this baroque style. It has a beautiful painting on top of it, and it's round, and it has geometrical shapes as well. And it was so beautiful, and I was singing in the meanwhile, and yeah, I was kind of losing my breath, but I was not caring about that. It was so beautiful that that's what I want to do. I want to tell stories all my life, but it doesn't have to be necessarily the stage. I mean, those people were sitting in those chairs, and they were mesmerized, and they were absorbing everything. All those eyes were on us. And yeah, interestingly, in that moment, my amygdala didn't tell me that, Andrea, you're under attack. It was, Andrea, this is amazing. That was the moment when I told to myself that this is it. This is nirvana. This is amazing. I love this feeling. This is what I want to do. I want to give people stories, and I think that was the strongest, this flicker that I'm telling you. Others followed. There were others before, but this stands out like such a um, uh, powerful emotion on me, that it, it it literally went through my body. I felt it in every cell of my body. And when my partner bent me over, I felt like one Andrea, and when he lifted me up back again, I was another one. And indeed, I was so much more active on stage. I was so much more into the story. I was not Andrea, I was that character that was in that story, and it was so amazing. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself that I need to provoke other women to do the same. You don't have to be wearing a costume on a stage. Now I can get into it every day of my life. So it's amazing, and we are storytellers. Just tell your story. That's not acting, okay? I'm not talking about behave unauthentically. No, exactly the opposite. Be authentic and tell what you think. Tell what you feel. Tell it out. because we are around you waiting for you to tell it to us.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that's the moment when I really felt something out of this world.
That's so amazing. That's so amazing. Yeah. Freedom. I think we all want that feeling, that freedom to express ourselves, and yeah, just sounds liberating. So Andrea, how I would like to, I'm going to post in the comments here where people can find you. So remind me again, what's the name of your web? How can people reach you? How would you like people to contact you? Through your website? Message you on this?
They can reach me through through my website. There is a book a call option.
Uh-huh.
If that is too complicated, they can also send me just a simple message on Messenger. I'm open to talk with anybody, so I'm
What's your,
not some sort of a diva that can be watched only from stage. I'm very approachable, so they can write me a simple message as well.
okay. And what's the name of your website? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's very simple. It's andreapopescu.com.
Can you spell that? Spell that for me?
Andrea, you already know that.
Yeah.
Uh, Popescu.
.com. Okay. I'm putting it
Dot
in the
com.
chat.
Yes.
You can let me know
Thank
if I'm
you.
right or not. Perfect. Wow, Andrea, this was really, truly such a beautiful message and such a powerful message. I mean, everything that you're saying, like the holistic approach to, really connecting with your voice, I think is a fantastic. I think in the Western world, the Western paradigm, we tend to only look at the parts of the whole and think that if we just fix that one part, it's really just an all many tiered, many armed approach to connecting with our voice. And just thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really important for me to share my story as well,
Yeah.
encouraging others to share theirs.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for watching, everyone. And join me live tomorrow with Brooke Adams, somatic therapist, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Thank you, Andrea. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.